Hi guys, so let's now take a look at what's known as trade diversion. Now this can really affect customs unions where there is a common external tariff which surrounds that customs union, and it means that any goods entering that customs union will then become more expensive. Now as a result of that, when a country joins a customs union, trade diversion can occur, and this is where trade is diverted from a more efficient producer to a less efficient one as a country joins that customs union. Okay, so let's just take a look at the diagrammatics in relation to this. So if we put down our domestic supply curve that we can see here, meanwhile we can put in our demand curve, and what we can now consider is the more efficient producer. So let's just put in the perfectly elastic supply curve for that more efficient producer, and let's say perhaps this is the supply available of imports from India. Okay, so we've got PI as our price level of Indian goods. We can see that we've got Q1 right through to Q2, which would represent the actual imports. We can see a very, very large area of consumer and economic welfare being generated as a result of this program. Okay, as a result of this international trade. So what now occurs is the fact that if we join a customs union, well, who would we now buy from? Would we buy from the EU perhaps, or would we buy from India? Well, we've got to remember there's that common external tariff here. So as we put that tariff on Indian goods, then it means Indian goods become more expensive. So we can see this occurring right here. So we've got the supply available from India plus the tariff. There it is, and we can just put in PI plus T, so we can see the impact on Indian goods now. Meanwhile, we can also see that it is cheaper for consumers now to actually import goods from the EU rather than India. So we can therefore see as a result of this that there will be a reduced level of imports. So imports will now reduce from Q3 to Q4. Moreover, interestingly, we can see domestic production would actually increase. So domestic production would increase from Q1 through to Q3. And we can see that right here. So let's just shade that area in. But this is a problem, of course, for the economy. As we've seen within our international trade diagrams, that this would represent a loss of dynamic efficiency for the economy itself. Because really, we should be exploiting a country's comparative advantage and enjoying the low cost of trade that actually enables us to benefit from. So we can see a loss of dynamic efficiency for the domestic economy there. Moreover, what we can also see reflected in this area is a complete loss of consumer welfare, as well as the fact that output is much reduced from the Indian economy. Of course, there's less trade taking place. So therefore, there is a deadweight economic loss reflected by this area here. So this is all great stuff in terms of being able to actually evaluate the actual gains that can be enjoyed from joining a customs union, or alternatively, how you may benefit in the case of the EU in leaving a customs union. Moreover, what we can see in this final area here is that this really reflects a loss of EU efficiency, because really these firms, again, they shouldn't be producing the good, these European Union firms. This good should be produced in India under a system of perfectly free trade. Okay, so there we go. There's our loss of EU efficiency. Perhaps one of the best examples we could consider in relation to this could be about agricultural produce in relation to coffee and coffee beans being exported to Europe. That provides us with an excellent case study example there. Okay, so this really overall is highly undesirable. What we can see is that this distorts the comparative advantage. It means a country with a much higher opportunity cost will actually be producing those given goods. That's not good news according to Ricardo's theory. There's a loss of consumer welfare and there's a loss of global efficiency that takes place as a result of trade diversion. The big question is, do customs unions cause trade creation or do they cause trade diversion? All right guys, thanks ever so much. See you next time.